Alright, here we go. Got reservoir is full of water. Let's see if we can make it down. About a 3-hour drive so I can work on the truck. Fun, fun, fun. Well, folks, I made it into Missoula, Montana last night and took a break. You know, had the truck running so that the AC would stay going for the dog, and I went to go get something to eat, come back, and I got a big puddle of coolant underneath the truck. So, a couple weeks back, about a month or two, about a month maybe, a month and a half, I was over in Missouri at my buddy's house in the St. Louis area with the same problem, leaking from the same area, and I replaced 2 of those lines. So I don't think it's those 2 lines. So it could either be the big pipe behind the EGR system or it's the EGR valves themselves. Hopefully it's just the big pipe in the back. Hopefully the seal on it is just all I need to replace. Otherwise, those EGR valves are going to be so costly that I can't afford them. I don't have the money for them. We're looking at we're looking at right around $3,000 to $3,600 just for the EGR valves, and I won't be able to pay for them. No idea where I'm gonna get the money. I'm in Spokane, Washington now. I just made my delivery, refilled my coolant system with water, and I'm gonna try to drive 3 hours south to my dad's place. I got an extra 6 gallons of water tucked away here in the truck. So if I have to stop somewhere and put more in, I've got some more I can put in. And then, of course, I could always stop at one of the truck stops on the way down to put more in. It's just going to be a 3-hour drive, and we're just going to be babying her on the way down. I know I don't need this right now, especially when I got $150 left to my name. You know, I've got certain friends that keep telling me I need to live stream this and tell everybody about it and just be grateful and accept any donations. And you know me, I don't ask for money. I feel uncomfortable asking. You know, usually I dig myself out of my own hole just fine. But this year's fuel prices and everything else, and if I hadn't have gone to Jefferson City this last weekend, and spent a lot of my own money doing it, I wouldn't be worried about this EGR thing right now, or the, you know, whether it would be the EGR or not, because I'd have enough money to cover it, you know. But right now we're driving through Spokane, Washington, trying to get back to I-90. Once I'm on I-90 and climb up the hill out of Spokane, it's mostly downhill from there. So it shouldn't be too much stress on the truck. She shouldn't heat up too quickly, especially with the trailer being empty. So, oh, well. Looks like X-Ray just got back on the DC Mall, because he just went live saying he's out on the DC Mall. So basically, a lot of mountains between Missoula, Montana, and Spokane, Washington. A lot of mountain climbs, and little over 3.5 hours of driving was about roughly 4.5 to 5 gallons of coolant to get it here. I've got a 3-hour drive to go from here to my dad's, and it's full, plus I got an extra 6 gallons. So no mountain climbs. I should be able to make it. But once I get there, it's gonna be fun figuring out which piece it is that's leaking, and then at that point, can I afford to fix it? If I can't afford to fix it, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, you're right. This really sucks. I don't need it right now. It's just the way it's gonna be. So what I really needed to do is to be able to stay running this weekend. Get another couple of loads. I needed to get another couple of loads done so that I could, be back to actually making money instead of sitting here losing money. Mom of one boy, hello, how are you? So we're going to run from Spokane down to the Tri-Cities, Washington area. About a 3-hour drive with a big leak in my coolant system. We're going down there so I can put it on my dad's property and I can work on it. And I'm hoping it's a cheap fix, but where it's leaking, it could also be a very, very expensive fix that I don't have the money for. So today is not fun.
Turn left on North Green Street.
I mean, if I have to, maybe I can bypass the coolant system around the EGR system, but I don't know. Yeah, no, it's not good. The leak popped up over in Missoula, Montana last night, and I refilled the coolant system and was able to climb the mountain climbs between there and Spokane and get it into Spokane just fine on full. And when I got here, it was about 4.5 to 5.5 gallons to fill it back up to full. Right now it's full, and that was a 3.5-hour drive, climbing mountains and all that. I don't really have any mountains to climb, other than two big hills. That's it. Between here and where I got to go to my dad's to be able to work on it. I don't have a load, so that makes me lighter. So there's less stress on the truck itself too. So I'm also carrying an extra 6 gallons of water right now, just in case. So we'll see if I can make it. If it ends up being the expensive part, that's going to be about $3,600 just for the part, maybe more. And I don't have it. I got like $150 left to my name. If it ends up being the expensive parts, I might be done trucking.
1 mile, right to South Mill Place.
It's kind of ironic considering I was talking about, doing random acts of kindness yesterday. And today, here I am, possibly seriously down on my luck. Good morning to you. I hope you all are having a much better day than I am. Because right now I'm driving this thing with a massive coolant leak.
1/2 mile, right to South.
At least I got the load off.
The second right.
And now I'm going to try to baby it about a 3-hour drive down to my dad's place where I can work on it. I got no choice. Because I got $150 left to my name and I cannot afford a week in a shop and $400 an hour mechanic. Not to mention, if it's the cheap fix, that's fine. That's going to be like maybe $20. No big deal. But if it's not the cheap fix and it happens to be the EGR valves, then I'm looking at $3,600 or more is what it'll cost just for the parts. So if it comes to that, I am probably out of business. Yeah, when it rains, it pours. I mean, last week I was replacing a starter on the truck. The same area is leaking right now. I replaced 2 very tiny coolant lines that go to and from the EGR valves a little over a month ago at my buddy's house in St. Louis. So I know it shouldn't be those 2 lines because they're brand new. There's one big pipe that's behind the EGR valves that could possibly be, which is just a cheap little seal, not a big deal. Or it could be the EGR valves themselves, and if that's the case, then we're looking at $3,600 or more, just for the parts. I don't know what to do. Right now I'm just praying I don't have too many more stops before I get up out of Spokane. Because once I'm out of Spokane, it's mostly downhill minus one more big hill between here and the Tri-Cities. It's about a 3-hour drive. I should be able to make it there. It's already 108 degrees. Oof. Outside. I should be able to make it there. If not, I can stop and... What the... Red does not mean go, dumbass. Weird. Anyway, excuse my language. I hate it when people sit there and wait until you get a green light and then they decide to cross in front of you on a bicycle. Anyway, Yeah, like I said, I'm hoping I don't hit too many more stupid lights before getting up out of town. I got an extra 6 gallons of water on me. In case I have to stop and refill it in the middle of nowhere. And there's also a truck stop about halfway down that I can hit. There's a couple of small towns I can pull in and hit to refill the coolant system with nothing but water. This is not going to be a fun day. I hope I can make it to my dad's place. I should be able to. I mean, I made it from Lawrence, Kansas, all the way out to St. Louis the last time, so that I could work on it at my buddy's house. So we'll see, because I cannot afford a tow bill. They charge $3,000 just to come up here in the Northwest. They charge $3,000 just to come out and hook up to the truck. That's just to hook up to the truck. That doesn't count the towing itself. That doesn't count all the extra fees, and that doesn't count all the labor and parts and everything that's going to go into fixing it after the fact. So we'll see. Come on. I can't sit at this light too long. Oh my God, people. Push, 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 push. Y'all are so pushy. Coming through the intersection even after you can't fit, that don't make no sense. All right. Oof. Talk about tent city. Holy crap.
Take the rear on the left to I-90 West.
Must be Spokane's Meth Central.
Continue at 9:18.
All right, here we go. As long as my temperature holds down below 210, I'm okay. Once it starts touching 210, I'm going to have to pull over, let it cool down, and refill it. So yeah, I got another coolant leak. It's not a good one. Just basically going to have to baby this thing for 3 hours down to a place where I can work on it. It's going to be a week. And most vehicles, you know, your cars and your pickups, they have like one EGR valve. These semi-trucks like this, it's got 2 of them. And they're big and they're specialized. They're not cheap, because they come with a special one just for the EGR valves, if that's the problem. And I don't know how I'm going to swing it if that's what it is. I might have to sell off some stuff. I don't know. Maybe I should just sell the truck. Dixie Misty, I'm not going to refuse any donations that are sent my way. Time even asking for them in the first place. Am I still live? I just got a weird message on the screen. It looked like maybe I lost my signal. Yep. Here's this one big hill. Oh, I was just buffering. Okay, good. Yeah, no, today is not going to be fun. Well, now that I'm climbing up out of Spokane, it's gone from 108 degrees to 101 degrees. See, if it was middle of winter, I wouldn't even be worried. If we were in the middle of winter, I wouldn't even be worried because I would easily make it down to my dad's without even having to stop and worry about it. Thank you, silly. Yeah, if it ends up being the EGR valves, I'm pretty much done for, I think, as far as trucking goes, because I don't have the money to fix that. And I can buy the parts and I can fix it myself, but the problem is the money to buy the parts. So I'm hoping maybe my dad can help me out a little bit. I don't know though, because he lost his left foot earlier this last fall. He financially supports my sister who had a massive brain injury a few years back. She was in a coma for almost a year. And he's retired now also. So I don't really want to know. I know he may not have enough to survive on throughout retirement. I mean, I don't know what kind of money he really feel bad even asking him. Yeah, I feel the same way there, Diane. I don't ever want to have to ask my parents for anything. That's how I've always lived my life. I've never asked anybody for anything. I've always found a way around it myself, one way or another. But in this situation, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't afford to not be running, and I can't afford to walk away from my truck. I basically can't afford to just go and take a regular job. Because you think about it, when you add up all the costs of a semi-truck, the taxes, the title, the licensing, the permits, the insurance, everything, not counting fuel, for every day that a semi-truck doesn't run, you can practically figure that's $900 out the window. So now you add up the $900 a day that it's going to take me for downtime on fixing the truck, not being able to haul a load. And then you add in the cost of the parts. If it happens to be the EGR valves, I just ain't got it. I just don't have it. That's going to be in excess of like $3,600. And I got 150 left to my name. So we're going to see if we can make it down there. I gotta check an email real quick. I don't know what that's about. I'm praying it's not that too. I'm praying it's just a big pipe. There's a big coolant pipe that comes out of the back of the actual EGR cooler itself, which would just be a little square cut, about a 1.5 inch square cut O-ring, which those are like $2. Well, and I would need 2 of them because there's one at each end of that pipe. I'm hoping that that's where the problem is. If not, then it is the EGR valves, and at that point, I don't know. I may just have to walk away from trucking altogether. And you know what? I better slow down. I shouldn't be doing this speed, that's for sure. There we go. Set my cruise control. There. Yeah. See, I had to let it cool down this morning. Then I had to baby it over to get it unloaded, baby it back, let it cool down again, and start refilling the coolant system. So I just got it refilled and took off, because for 3 hours should be about 4 to 5 gallons that it'll lose on that trip, or on this trip. And I just got to keep an eye on my coolant temperature. If I start seeing it hovering around the 210 degree mark, I'm going to have to pull off somewhere and let it cool down. And then I've got an extra 6 gallons of water that I've got sitting here on the truck with me that I can put in it to get me the rest of the way. So, push comes to shove, I'm still going to make it to my dad's one way or another. I don't know if the truck's going to make it to my dad's, but I'm going to. Because this is my old stomping grounds. I grew up out this way. So I still got lots of friends that live out here. Lots of farms. Lots of farms. I went to high school with everybody that's running them farms now. So. Yep. I do have a Zell. Silly, are you on there right now? If Silly is on there, she can post my email address. I do have a Zelle. That's Zelle or something like that. That you can use my email address to send to. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, I really don't trust most of those anyway because of the, electronic wires, electronic funds transfers. To me, they just, I don't know. It all seems too hackable, you know. But I do have Zelle. Yep. Come on, come on. Thank you. At least you sped up a little bit instead of sitting there hovering next to me. Oh, I shouldn't even be doing this speed. What am I doing? I keep forgetting I'm in Washington now. I can't be doing that. There we go. Put it up there. Hello, Josh. Well, guys, for anybody that just came in the room, today is an exciting day for you. Last night on the way into Spokane, I stopped in Missoula, Montana to take a 2-hour break. It's about a 3.5-hour drive from Spokane, and there's a lot of mountain climbs in between. I went in, left the truck running, went in and got some food, come back out, and I got a big puddle of coolant on the ground under the truck. I now have a big coolant leak. I did get, I refilled the coolant in Missoula, Montana, and got it over into Spokane, delivered my load, and then had to put about 4.5 to 5 gallons into the coolant system to fill it back up full. And I'm now empty, no load in the trailer, filled it back up full again, and heading 3 hours south to my dad's place where I can work on it. I'm carrying an extra 6 gallons of water to put in if I need to. Plus there's a couple of places that I could stop. on the way down there. But she's leaking like a sieve right now. Leaking coolant everywhere. And it's either coming out of the EGR valves themselves, or it's coming out of a big pipe that's behind. If it's the big pipe, that's an easy fix. It's just a square cut O-ring. I'll need to buy 2 square cut O-rings because one goes on each end of the pipe. And they're like $2 a piece, not a big deal. But if it's the EGR valves, we're looking in excess of like $3,600 or more. And I've only got like $150 left to my name right now. So the EGR valves could be the thing that puts me out of business. Welcome, Josh. Normally I'm talking about things like no more third terms, hashtag no more. I'm talking about the unity that we need to have across the country for the freedom movement. Everybody needs to stand up together, and all the different freedom their egos and work. This is my movement and my movement only, and not cooperating with any other group. That's not what this whole freedom movement's about. Control of what group, and it's not about. This is a people's movement. This is not Joe Blow that's running people. But today, to a place I can work on it that I cannot afford. It's not the expensive one. Expensive one, I don't. Right now, 3.5 hours and a lot of mountains to climb through. And by the time I got across the mountains, it had gone through about 4.5 to 5 gallons of coolant. So this is a 3-hour drive, not a 3.5-hour drive. And there aren't any mountains to climb on the way there. So we will, and I've got an extra 6 gallons of water that I'm carrying with me just in case. But I don't know what I'm going to do if it happens to be the expensive fix, because if it's the EGR valves themselves, that's going to be well over $3,600, and I've only got $150 left to my name. So cross your fingers. You guys are riding with me all the way. If the signal drops out and I lose, if the live stream drops out, I will get it back up again as soon as I have a signal, because there are some spots here where on this trip I might not have a signal. So if I drop out in the middle of nowhere, do not worry. I'll be back up as soon as I can be. I'm not quite in a situation where you need to call out the National Guard to find me. Because it's just a matter of making sure that I can keep the temperature of the engine down below 210 degrees. If it starts hovering at 210, I'll have to pull over. If the engine starts hovering at 210 degrees, I'll just have to pull over, put more water in, and keep on going. So, yeah, today is exciting for you guys. You get to ride along with me with your fingers crossed the whole time, hoping I make it, right? And everybody in here knows I hate asking for money. I hate asking for help. I don't like asking for help. I'm stubborn when it comes to that. But in the other hand, if I notice somebody might need a little help, I'm the first one there. I'll give somebody the shirt off my damn back if that's what it takes. Even if I'm broke, I'll still help any way I can. But when it comes to me, I don't ask for help when I need it. I've never found it easy to do. I've never really been able to do it. You know, even after I got out of high school and moved out, and I was working 3 jobs and I couldn't afford rent. You know, I was homeless at the time too, and nobody in my family, none of my friends, nobody knew that I was homeless because I just couldn't bring myself to ask for help or tell anybody. You know, that's the kind of person I am. I don't beg. I don't ask for help in any way, shape, or form. But right now, I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, I spent a lot of money last week going down to the Jefferson City, Missouri event this last weekend out of my own pocket. And if I hadn't have done that, well, I also ended up having to replace a starter on that trip. That cost me extra money. But if I hadn't have done that, if I hadn't have gone down there, then I wouldn't be worried about how I'm going to fix this if it happens to be the expensive parts. So, cross y'all's fingers. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it the next 3 hours all the way down. Let's keep them fingers crossed. Thank you, and Montana native. I do assume that the MT is for Montana, right? Thank you very much. I don't know how much you sent, but thank you. Um, it'll definitely help. Anything that anybody's willing to donate will help. I'm not going to refuse donations. I would never refuse donations, but you know, in the same respect, I don't ask for donations. I don't like asking. I'm not doing this to make money. Normally, I'm out here just spreading the word about the freedom movement and putting out the ideas of ways that we can get this country turned around in the right direction. You know, and giving people a lot of facts about a lot of things, especially about the Constitution itself. And, you know, I do that for free because Everybody needs the information. That information should be shared freely. It shouldn't be shadow banned. It shouldn't be restricted. And they should have never stopped teaching cursive to the kids in school, because now those kids in school have no hope of being able to read the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, or the Bill of Rights without having had it translated. And when we all know, when things get translated over time, they end up losing their core value. You know, you take a look at the original writings of the Bible in the original language, and you translate it to what it really says and compare that to what the translation is today, and they are two completely different books. Just saying, if you've ever studied them, you'd know. That's why kids today look at those documents and they can't read them, so they're worthless to them, right? You know, I mean, I spend money out of my own pocket to go to these events and get up and give a speech, you know, about an important issue at the time, like my hashtag no more third terms video. If anybody's new in this channel, I suggest you go and watch a video that I have posted up. It's titled hashtag no more third terms. I suggest you watch that one. You can watch I suggest you watch all my videos actually, but that hashtag no more third terms one, I suggest you watch it. And if you can agree with it, please share it everywhere. You know, I just drove through Montana yesterday. Matter of fact, this coolant leak that I've got right now started at Meralt's, the Meralt's truck stop there in Missoula, Montana. So we're just going to see if we can get down to my dad's place where I can park the truck and work on it. We may end up having to stop about halfway and put more water in. Just got to make sure I don't have it hovering up around 210 degrees for too long. That's all. It's where it's leaking right now. It could possibly be two different things. Either it's a big coolant pipe that comes out of the back of the EGR cooler, which would be 2 little square O-rings to replace it, like $2 a piece. Not a big deal. I can cover that. But if it's not that, then it is the EGR valves themselves, and the parts alone are going to be in excess of $3,600. And I don't have it. I don't know what's been donated yet, but as far as what I've got to my name is the cash that's in my pocket, and the cash that's in my pocket's only $150. So cross your fingers. We got 3 hours of driving to do, and you know, let's make it there. And when we get there, you know, I might as well see if I can't. I don't know how I'm going to keep the phone from overheating while I work on the engine, while I work on that issue. But if I can, I'll try to live stream the work so you can see what I'm doing. See, that's what this is the sad truth about being an owner-operator, you know. If you are out here as an owner-operator in the trucking business, if you do not know how to work on your own truck, if you do not know how to do your own mechanicking, you won't be in the business for very long. because I can go and I can buy the parts for $3,600 from the dealer, or I could just have them work on it and fix it. And if I did that, yeah, the parts would still cost me $3,600, but then you're looking at $400 to $480 an hour labor. You're looking at not having your truck for 2 to 3 weeks because it's first come, first serve, and they've got so many trucks already parked there being worked on. And everything else that they drive the price up with. So if I were to come into the shop right now with this kind of issue, I guarantee I wouldn't get out of that shop for less than $7,000. So if I bought the parts for $3,600 and change them out myself, well, I just saved myself another $3,600, right? Roughly. And I also saved myself 2 weeks of not being able to run. See, that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. When you're an owner-operator, every day that your truck is not moving and making money on a load, you're looking at throwing $900 out the window. It's about $900 a day, roughly, when you add in all the costs of operating and split, the entire yearly cost of operation, not counting fuel, all your taxes, title, license, permits, everything. When you add all that up and divide it out amongst the 365 days out of the year, you're looking at about $900 a day. That's what the cost is. So for every day that a truck is not moving, that's a $900 loss. So, yeah. And we're still doing good now. We're hovering right about, we're hovering between like 190. Yep. So as long as people keep commenting, let's start a little conversation amongst everybody in the chat. Let's start a little conversation amongst everybody in the chat so we can keep the chat strain moving. Because as long as the chat strain is moving, I know that I haven't lost my signal. Because if I lose my signal, I want to know so I can try to reset it and get the live stream back up as quick as possible. So, what issues is everybody wanting to talk about today? Other than the fact that I'm driving across Washington State for 3 hours with a pretty large coolant leak. I really wish things were working better in my favor today. Oh no. No. This is not good. I can't sit here idling. No. Anybody know why we're sitting here stopped on the southbound side? Yeah, I'm sorry. You came in so broke up I couldn't understand you. Oh boy. Even at 5 miles an hour, huh? I wonder how much coolant I'm dumping on the ground right here. What's the reason for this backup, people? Come on.
Looks like we're coming to a stop, maybe.
Come on, people. Keep moving. Keep moving. Whatever the issue is, let's get past it. Oh, he said a travel trailer was having issues? Yeah, I couldn't understand him. It was all so choppy, broken up, at least from where I can hear. So it sounds different to my ears than it does to you guys because the mic seems to make it clearer. Now, as long as we keep rolling instead of sitting, the temperature of my engine will stay down. Adams County. You can go to Grant County on vacation and you're going to come home on probation. Yeah, I see that X-Ray's back in DC. I noticed he went live saying that he was back on the DC Mall here a little bit ago. Now, for anybody that just entered the room, I have a coolant leak again. I'm leaving. I just left Spokane, Washington, headed down for Tri-Cities, Washington area to put this thing on my dad's property so I can work on it. I'm leaking coolant as we're sitting here. If I have to sit right here too long, I'm definitely going to have to refill my coolant again. I've got an extra 6 gallons of water with me right now. I filled it up full, filled up the coolant reservoir and everything full before I left Spokane. We got about 3-hour drive down. It's leaking from a spot where there's two possibilities. It's either the pipe that comes out of the back of the EGR cooler, which would be an easy fix. I would just need to replace two little 1-inch, 1 to 1.5 inch O-rings. They're like $2 a piece, easy. But if that's not the problem and it happens to be the EGR valves themselves, we're looking at upwards of probably in excess of $3,600 in parts alone, and I've only got $150 cash left in my pocket, and that's all I got, other than what people may have donated already this morning. So you all are riding along with me with your fingers crossed, hoping I don't get stuck out here in the middle of nothing. For one, basically you're riding with me, seeing if I can even make it down to where I'm trying to. So we'll see. Well, X-Ray just went live again, saying he's riding with Santa in DC. I really wish them the best of luck, but things are getting pretty dangerous in there for them. You know, instead of doing this, I would really, really rather be. I'd really rather be talking about the freedom movement and talking about, and talking about my hashtag No More Third Terms idea, and the Constitution itself. And the fact that that they're voting on the gun ban bill today. So they started voting on it last night. I don't know if it's done yet or not. I don't know if they passed it or not, but they were doing. So we'll see. There are so many constitutional violations in that gun ban bill that they're trying to push. Yeah, it's a bad one, and we will feel the effects of it right away. The Supreme Court is probably going to slap injunctions on it instantly, but that takes time. And it'll ultimately end up getting thrown out by the Supreme Court, probably. Damn it. So it looks like everybody's going to need to get over into the left lane. Yeah, the radios do work. Home up there is having issues. Yeah, I can see it from here. Plane to get around everything. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. You know what round marker that's at? I'm not sure. Looks like it's about a mile ahead of us here. 90 minutes on where you're at. What do you say ahead of us? Oh, ahead of me. Yeah, right. Oh, I'm right around a little less than a quarter mile away from it, and I'm staring right at the 238 marker. Come on, people, now. But y'all just quit gawking at it and move. Yeah, the issue is just about a quarter mile past the 238 mile marker. And y'all are going to need the left lane to get through.
I'm just driving up to 238 as far as I can see. Oh, I see the motorhome, I guess, up the hill.
Yeah, and there's a state Cooper trooper right behind it. You must be in that low boy gooseneck there.
Hey, don't insult me. I ain't got no damn Volvo.
I got a Volvo. I ain't insulted. No, you got a big gray truck right there, right?
Yeah, I got a silver Kenworth with RG trailer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why I called it a gooseneck, but anyway. So, folks, this is fun. No, not really. It's not. I hope y'all are still there. Of areas for cell signals to be moving this slow. This is also not the best thing for me to be doing when I'm leaking coolant like a madman right now.
Well, looks like there's something they lost their four-wheeler behind that, whatever. It's way over across the fence line.
Oh, wow. They must have been towing an extra little car behind their camper, and the car broke loose and flew off. This is why I don't think that running double or triple as a pickup yourself, you know. So this guy's pulling a pickup, or he's driving a pickup, pulling a camper, and then pulling a car behind. No, I don't. Oh, I don't think he was pulling a car behind him. That looks like the car just went off the road by itself. Yeah, he's not set up for. Wow. So probably the first Good Samaritans to actually stop and try to help before. They're probably still waiting on EMS and everything else to get there. Wouldn't be so bad if people would just drive instead of gawk at it. You see something like that, get in the farthest lane away from it and keep. Don't slow down too much. Keep moving. Because all you're doing is an even longer time services to get there, and that somebody might not survive if there are fatal injuries. Oh, good. Y'all are still there. So we've got looks like time wise it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours from here, and 95 miles. So I should be able to make it there without having to stop and refill my coolant system. We'll see. Yeah, you may call him the gawker look of an accident waiting to happen. I call them an accident waiting to happen, because you're going to end up with a 2 or 3, 4 mile backup in both lanes on a blind curve, and somebody's going to be sitting there playing with their phone, flying at 80 miles an hour down the highway, and run right into the back of the middle of everything. Comes around that curve happens to be a semi-truck, because he's not just hitting one vehicle, he's going to hit several before he comes to a stop. Hello, Rosie Rowe. I don't know if you know, I've got a coolant problem again. And this time it's not at the right time. I can't, you know, I don't have the money to deal with it. I mean, if it's a cheap option, then I can fix it easy myself with the pocket money that I've got. EGR valve, that's like $3,600 or more, just in parts. Yup. Night I parked over in Missoula, Montana for a break for the AC for the dog. Walked across the street to get something to eat, come back, and I've got a puddle of coolant underneath the truck. And it looks like it's leaking from the EGR valve area. I've already replaced the little tiny coolant lines that go to the EGR valves here last month. So I know it can't be those. There's one big pipe, well, it's about 1 inch to 1.5 inch diameter pipe that comes out of the EGR cooler itself that would take 2 little square cut O-rings, one on each end of the pipe, and that would fix that problem if that's where it's leaking, because that would actually be dropping it directly on top of the EGR valves. But if that's, then it has to be the EGR valves themselves, and those are going to cost me more than $3,600. I can guarantee that. And I've only got $150 left to my name in cash in my pocket. So I don't know who's donated how much of what today, because I'm driving, so I don't really have the ability to go look at it. But you know, I'm giving out my and any of the other mods give out my and my Zelle, which they can just. I'm not asking anybody to do it. If you feel like you need to, that's your choice. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to ask